भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
So thank you very much for coming online on our weekly question and answer program. Thank you also for your kind association. So you have a topic that we want to talk about.
Prabhu, lot of devotees who don't follow the correct leaders and they blame Prabhupada for that, and I feel so pained by that, Prabhu. It's like why they don't realize that it's how can Prabhupada and Krishna misguide someone? But unfortunately, people are mistaking that it is their whole movement is wrong and they're going away from Krishna consciousness. It's like very painful to see this situation.
Well, this is the problem because the main thing is that they're not reading Prabhupada books, no?
Mm.
So when you don't he read, then you can be misled, no?
Mm.
Yes.
Yes,
That's
Prabhu.
why Prabhupada many times say, read my books, read my books.
Mm.
That's the difficulty, you know.
Mm.
Hmm? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu. Mm. I mean, they see the leaders who are like, in a wrong example, and they think, oh, then what is Prabhupada doing seeing them? Like, they talk so rubbish things, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is the problem.
Mm.
So I was doing this class.
Mm.
I was doing this Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. Hmm?
Mm-hmm.
So you know this song, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know this song, right? Nitai Pada Kamala. Hmm?
Yes, Prabhu. Mm-hmm.
Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra
Yes, Sridhar.
Sisutala Echaya Jagata Jurai Eno Nitai Bine Bai Radha Krishna Paitenai Dridakori Dharo Nitai Pai. So से संबंध नहीं जार व्रत जन्म गेलो तार से पासु बोरो दुराचार नेताय ना बोलिले मुखे मजुलो संसार सुखे विद्या कुले के कोरी बेतार अहंकार मता होए निताय पद पसारिया सत्य रे सत्य कोरी मणि निताय करुणा हबे ब्रज राधा कृष्ण प्रभे दारो निताय चरण दुखानी निताय चरण सत्य तरहा सेवक नित्या निताय पद सद कोरो आश नारताम बोरो दुखी निताय मोरो मोरे सुखो कोरो सुखी राखो रंग चरणेर पाशा. So this song Prabhupada has given a very nice purport because we are celebrating Nityananda's appearance day. I think we all have done that a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll read this purport, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
This is a very nice song sung by Narottam Das Thakur. He advises that Nitai Pada, the lotus feet of Nityananda, Kamala means lotus and Pada means feet, are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight not only of one but of millions of moons. So we can just imagine the aggregate total value of the soothing shine of millions of moons. In the material world, Jagat, which is progressing towards hell, there is always a blazing fire, and everyone is struggling hard without finding peace. Therefore, if the world wants to have real peace, it should take shelter under the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, which are cooling like the shining of a million moons. Juraya means relief. If one actually wants relief from the struggle of existence, actually wants to extinguish the blazing fire of material pang, Narottam Das Thakur advised, please take shelter of Lord Nityananda. So this is actually the fact because Narottam Das Thakur is giving, the message from the Bhagavatam, but he gives in a very simplified form, in the form of songs. And it's a fact because if we want to get out of this mess, then we should take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
Explained here in this verse. Tapatrayena abhihitasya gore shantapyamanasya bhava davaniha pashyami nancha charanam tavangari tvantva ta patra amrta abhivarshad. My dear Lord, for one who has been cruelly burned in the blazing fire of material miseries, having fallen the network of material existence, I do not see any possible shelter besides your two lotus feet, which are a shower of nectar extinguishing the fire of suffering. Give me a minute. I need to go and I think this background sound is there, no?
Yes, Prabhu. Sure.
I'll just go and switch that off. Give me a minute. So you can see here, this is what it is, the material world. The material world is not, a place where, it's full of fun. Hmm? Yes, it is. It is a place, a blazing fire of material miseries. And the shelter, in order to get out of this misery, shelter besides your two lotus feet. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the same thing is said here. Material existence is like an ocean that is extremely difficult to cross. The conditioned souls have fallen into this ocean, which is not cool, but rather burns them, fire, misery. Hmm? For one who has fallen into the sea and desired to get out, there is no rescue boat except the constant relishing within oneself of the pastime narration of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see, this same point is explained by Narottam Das Thakur, that if we want to get out of this blazing fire of material existence, then we have to take shelter of the Lord. Hmm?
Mm.
You can see here, this is what he meant, that we have to take shelter of the Lord's Nitai Pada, the lotus feet of the Lord. And there is no other relief. There's no other way you can go. Not that there is something else. There's nothing else. Hmm? There's nothing else. You cannot get out of this mess. Hmm? Thus, the devotee who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspiration to be promoted to a heavenly planet or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, a home, or anything in relation to the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death. On the other hand, na anyatra. See this word? Na
Mm-hmm.
anyatra. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any other shelter than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. So here Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Juraite. There is no other relief. Yes, there is no other relief. Juraya means relief. So you see how he has, and you cannot get peace anywhere else. What will be the result of accepting the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda? He says, Eno Nitai Bine Bai, unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. It will be very difficult for him to approach Radha and Krishna. The aim of this Krishna conscious movement is to enable us to approach Radha and Krishna and associate with the Supreme Lord in his sublime pleasure dance. This pleasure dance is, what kind of dance is that? Some disco dance or something? This is actually the Rasa Lila dance.
Mm.
Narottam Das Thakur advised that if one actually wants to enter into the dancing party of Radha and Krishna, he must accept the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. So you can see here, just like we all think that we can go direct to Krishna, but anyone who thinks like that, he cannot make it. Because Krishna himself says, anyone who thinks that is my devotee is not my devotee. Anyone who says a devotee of my devotee, yes, then yes, is my devotee. Yes?
Mm.
So therefore the system is, of course, we have to go through our spiritual master and then the predecessor spiritual master, and then we go to the six Goswamis, then we go to Haridas Thakur, then we go to Lord Nityananda. Without going to Nityananda, then we cannot go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's not possible. And unless we go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Radha and Krishna, Radha Krishna Nayanya. So this is the system of how to develop love for Radha and Krishna. See? You understand? Most devotees, they think that it's all a waste of time. I'll just chant Krishna's name and think of Krishna and dance around with Krishna. Anyway, it's not possible to think of Krishna, just like that, Maybe you can, but I don't know. I mean, it's not so easy.
Mm.
So therefore, the system has to be adhered to. That's why Narottam Das is saying, if you don't catch hold of the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, then it's not possible. And that's a fact, I'm sure you know the story of Raghunath Das Goswami.
Mm.
Yes?
Yes, true.
Others are familiar, not familiar? Hello?
Uh, I'm familiar, Prabhu.
What?
I'm not familiar, Prabhu.
Who is saying you're not familiar?
Nikhil?
Oh, Nikhil, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. This Raghunath Das, he was actually a son of Govardhan, or
Majumdar.
two, they are both zamindars, and it's very, very wealthy family. Of course, they were Vaishnavas, father was devotee. But the father was very attached to Raghunath Das. And Raghunath Das, he was very much attached in leaving the house to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, the father and mother, they got him married, they got him all tied down, but he was not interested. So he would run away to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then the father will send a group of men to bring him back, catch him forcefully and bring him back. So this was going on and going on. Every time he tried, he just cannot make it, So then he Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happened to go to Santipur, and there he met him and told him, you cannot do this, you be patient, behave normally, and Krishna will make the plan. So then he understood this and he acted normally, and seeing his behavior change, the parents slackened on the guard on him. And one day, Nityananda Prabhu happened to go to his village, and there Nityananda Prabhu, caught all of him, and he was trying to pay obeisances far away, and caught him, and he put his leg on his head, and he said, you have trying to come here, like a thief, taking darshan like this. No, you should pay a price. So then he started this Panichida festival. I don't know, you know that? I'm sure you must know, correct? They make this cheap rice, for flat rice, I think, with yogurt and banana and fruits mixed
Mangoes.
up.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
have you tasted that? I'm sure some temples celebrate this festival. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he fed everybody there, and Nityananda's man team and everybody came, and he was feeding them, this preparation. And after all his man has been happy and taken this preparation, then Nityananda Prabhu blessed him again. So when Raghunath Das Goswami got the blessing of Nityananda, so he went back, and shortly after, in the middle of the night, his guru came to see him. Yadunandana was his guru. He said this, that you please try to help this one disciple. He is not taking up the service of puja and is leaving and is going. You please go talk to him and help. Say, okay, I'll do that. And Raghunath then saw his chance of slipping away. And he finally slipped away, and he went by the forest path, and finally he met with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the story is that by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he was trying, he could do something that he was trying for so long to do. See, so by Nityananda Prabhu's blessing, he got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, he became a personal secretary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, servant of Swarup Damodar, and you get a chance to be seeing all the intimate pastimes of the Lord. So that's why he's one of the Goswamis. So you see how that by that the mercy of the Lord, Nityananda, it is not possible to get the blessings of Radha and Krishna. And there's also another story where Krishnadas Kaviraj, you know who is Krishnadas Kaviraj?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is the author of the Chaitanya
Chaitanya Charita.
Charitamrita. So he had a brother, and one of the disciple of Nityananda Prabhu, Miniketan Ramdas. Miniketan Ramdas was a disciple of, and he likes to play the flute, So when he came visiting to Krishnadas Kaviraj's house, his brother, he had strong faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he did not have any faith in
Nityananda.
Nityananda Prabhu. So Krishnadas Kaviraj is telling him these both brothers are the same, they're not different. This Krishna and Balaram, Hoilo Nitai, I'm sure you know. So then his brother did not listen, and he was not happy also with Miniketa Ramdas, who happened to, he was insulted. But he laughed. Then when he left, his brother, shortly after, he fell down. So then Nityananda Prabhu came in the dream of Krishnadas Kaviraj and asked him to go to Vrindavan. And because Krishnadas Kaviraj went to Vrindavan, there he had the mercy of writing this book. And before writing the book, he went to Madan Mohan to take blessings. And Kalan from Madan Mohan fell on him. And you see how taking shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, who personally guided the Krishnadas Kaviraj, he attained, so much mercy. And his brother, he did not have faith in Nityananda Prabhu, and he fell down. Of course, another big example is Jagai and Madai. I'm sure all of you know how Nityananda Prabhu saved them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to kill them, correct?
Yes,
The
Prabhu.
mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. He said, my Lord, you have come down to deliver this kind of people. If you kill them, what benefit will be?
Mm.
Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, provided they will not commit again any more mistake.
Mm.
Of course, that changed the life of Jaga and Bandai. So, but the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is so unique, you see. That's why he says, without Nityananda Prabhu, Heno Nitai Bine Bai, Radha Krishna,
Python.
Maitenai. See that? Huh? So try to understand. That's why we are chanting Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
why we chant? Because this mantra is so powerful. Correct? This is
Yes.
to help us become purified to be able to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna is nothing but Radha and Krishna.
Mm.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Hare is the internal potency of the Lord. Who is the internal potency?
Radharani.
Ah, correct? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Prabhu.
So here Dani says, Se sambandha nahi. Sambandha means connection or contact. Anyone who has not contacted a relationship with Nityananda is understood to have spoiled his human life, human birth. It's a fact. There are three things, Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya and Priyojana, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And Sambandha means connection. First you need to be connected. Then you have to practice the rules and regulation, Abhideya. And finally you develop Priyojana, the goal, which is developing love for Krishna. So you have to learn how to get connected to Nityananda Prabhu. Yes. So Prabhupada is saying, if you don't get connected to Nityananda Prabhu, then you have spoiled your human birth.
Mm-hmm.
That means you are getting absorbed in what? Sense gratification. In another song also Narottam Das says, Hari Hari Bifale Janama Goainu. Anyone who does not approach Radha Krishna through a relationship with Nityananda has uselessly spoiled his life. Brahda means useless. Janma means life. Tara means his. And Sambandha means relationship. Anyone who does not make relationship with Nityananda is simply spoiling the boom of his human form of life. Why is it spoiling it? Se pasu. See that? Se pasu boro durachar. Se means that. Pasu means animal and durachar means misbehave or the most misbehaved. Without elevation to Krishna consciousness through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, life is simply spoiled in the animal propensity of sense gratification.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Everyone is just into this. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
This is what is going on. Uddhava said, my dear Krishna, generally human beings know that material life brings great future unhappiness and still they try to enjoy material life. My dear Lord, how can one in knowledge act like an dog, an ass, or a goat? In other words, if he is into sense gratification, then he is non-different from a dog, an ass, or a goat. Animal. Dvipada pasu, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Two-legged animal.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
So one who is not interested in spiritual life And he is nothing but an animal. No? Ahara nidra bhayamaituna samanyam pasubir nirnam. So these four things are equal for animals and human beings. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Samanyam pasubir nirnam. Dharmam hina pasubir saman. In other words, if you don't have a religion or Krishna consciousness, then you are no better than an animal. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
That's why Narottama is saying, if you don't get the mercy of Nityananda, you get into sense gratification, then you are no better than an animal. Right?
Mm.
It's a fact. Yeah, what are they doing? The same thing, isn't it? Only thing is that, he points out that this is, they become very misbehaved, Animals at least got some rules, they do things in a controlled manner. Nature is controlling their habits and that. But the human being, they are most misbehaved. They have no control.
Mm.
They'll do anything and everything, correct?
Mm.
Especially eating, they eat all kind of horrible stuff. Hmm?
Mm.
Hmm? No control. They'll do it. All kind of nonsense. Without elevation to Krishna consciousness, through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, life is simply spoiled in the animal propensity of sense gratification. That's a fact. The one who enjoys the senses, then his path is going to where? Huh?
Hell.
Right? This is explained. Tamo dwaram yoshit sangi sangam. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
I think it's too. Says here. Mahat Sevam Dwaram Ahor Vimukte Tamo Dwaram Yosit Sangi Sangam. So anyone who is into sense gratification, then they are advancing towards hell. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equiposed. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and are fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas. So to associate with Mahatmas, you get to go back to the spiritual world. And if you associate with this people who are fond of women and sex, then the path to hell is wide open. Naturally, if you behave like animal, you cannot expect to be promoted, no? Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
So therefore, hellish life guaranteed. That's why Krishna also said in the Bhagavad Gita, no? Right? The path to hell, what he says?
Kama esha krodha esha rajoguna.
It says, this verse here, it says, Trividam narakeshyedam dwaram nasanam atmanaha kama, krodas, tata, lobas, tasmadeta trayam tyajat. The three gates leading to this hell. Last is the mode of passion, anger, mode of ignorance, greed. Every sane man should give this up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Yes.
Yes, true.
Even in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying sense gratification is very dangerous. Aneka chitta vibranta mohajala samamritaha prashakta kama bhogeshu. This is what kama bhogeshu means what? Sense gratification. Patanti, fall down. Narake, hell. Asuchav, unclean. They, thus perplexed by various anxiety and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down to hell. So naturally, if you become animal, as I've said, then you will become animal. You no need to be a human being. Correct? So try to understand that this is the aspect. Narottam Das says that ordinary animals can be tamed, but when a human being is animalistic, having only animal propensity, he is most horrible, for he cannot be tamed. For he cannot be tamed. What does it mean? He cannot be tamed. You can see you are trying to preach to these animals, how difficult it is. Like beating our head on the wall, you know. They are not willing to listen. Correct?
Yes.
Because they're so absorbed in their nonsense. Ordinary cats and dogs or even tiger can be tamed. But when a human being goes out of his way and neglects to take to the human activity of Krishna consciousness, his higher intelligence will simply be misused for animal propensity. And it's very difficult to tame him. Very difficult. The enactment of state laws cannot make a thief an honest man because his heart is polluted. He cannot be tamed. Every man sees that a person who commits criminal offense is punished by the government. Also in scriptural injunction, punishment in hell is mentioned. But despite hearing from scripture and seeing the action of state laws, the demonic cannot be tamed. It's a fact. Cannot change heart simply by following some laws. It's not possible. It's not how you get purified. Or having some kind of a, what do you call this, courtesy campaign. They put a big sign and put a smile on your face and pretend to be courteous and moral principles and codes. It doesn't work. It cannot work. So you can only become purified by the association of great saintly personalities. Otherwise, especially Nityananda Prabhu. Of course, to go to Nityananda Prabhu, you need to, associate with devotees. Otherwise, how you go to him? That's why it says here that one who has served, Shru Soyo Shudanan Shuddha Danasya Vasudeve Kataruchi. Syan Mahachevaya Vipraha Punya Tirtha Nisevanat. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. And when you start hearing about the Lord, Sanvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantastoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Shruhat Satam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee. Benefactor of the truthful devotee cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. You see that? In other words, unless we get connected through the devotees and serve them, then we will get to this point where we will get to hear about the Lord. And when we start hearing about the Lord, then our heart will become purified. Yeah, that's why we are introducing, we've been told to chant Hare Krishna, correct?
Mm.
Why? Because by chanting Hare Krishna, our heart will become purified. You cannot get purified by punishing him in jail or trying to educate him with some kind of moral codes. No. Like an animal, you bathe the animal in your house, you keep him in your house. What will the animal do? This dog, what will he do?
Mm.
It will pass through in his house. Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
because animal. Understand? You follow?
Mm.
So therefore, anyone who is want to change, you want to have develop the saintly qualities, then yes, we have to take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu.
Mm.
So I also here it says here, and this verse, yes, the bhakti, Bhagavati Akinchana, sarve guna tatra samasta suraha, harava bhakta shekutot mahat guna, manoratina asti, davato bahi. This is very important here. Harav abhaktasya kutot mahat guna, manoratina asti, davato bahi. All the demigods and the exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities, sense gratification, has no good quality. No good quality. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So if one goes in this way, trying to speculate with the mind, as they say, morally upright, but because he's speculating with his mind, he cannot have any good qualities. I think I have seen, many stories of all these professors, supposed to be teaching students, and their behavior is so atrocious. Yes,
Mm.
correct. They engage in so many nefarious activities, very, very, I would say, low class, because character not reformed.
Mm.
Although they are, supposed to be professors, whatnot. Sometimes even big leaders. because they have not, again, not captured the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Then there's no question of them having any kind of purification or having any good qualities. See? Although all the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. Vasudeva Kataruchi. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this untamed animal, you cannot be corrected by any way. It is not possible. You cannot tame this crazy animal. It is not possible. Only way you can purify is to take shelter of the Lord through his devotees. So what are they doing? What are they doing? Yeah? Nitayana bolilo mukhe, since they do not know who Nityananda is, they never say the names of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. Majilo samsara sukhe. Majilo means become absorbed. They become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment. They don't care who is Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. They don't care. Actually, they become completely, what we say, lost. You know, they don't know. Because when you become absorbed in sense gratification, you lose all your intelligence. It's a fact. It's a fact, it is said in so many places. I'm just going to show you here. Due to ignorance, the materialistic person does not know anything about his real self-interest, the auspicious path in life. He is simply bound to material enjoyment by his lusty desires, and all his plans are made for this purpose, for temporary sense gratification. Such a person creates a society of envy, and due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. So he's lost. He cannot figure it out. It's not possible. Doesn't know. He doesn't know. That is his position. Indriya Vishaya Akristei, been attracted to this sense gratification. When one's mind and senses attract to sense object for enjoyment, the mind becomes agitated. As a result of continually thinking of sense objects, one's consciousness almost becomes lost, like the water in a lake that is gradually sucked up by the big grass straws on its bank. It becomes almost lost. One's real consciousness almost becomes lost. Finish. And what he goes through. When one deviates from his original consciousness, he loses the capacity to remember his previous position or recognize his present one. When remembrance is lost, all knowledge acquired is based on false foundation. When this occurs, learned scholars consider that the soul is lost. Finish. Yeah, this is why it says, lust leads to anger, to greed, to envy, to bewilderment, and finally become crazy, lost. The mad guy is lost because he's gone, his head is gone. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm? It says here. So many places it says this point, so many places. So therefore, we should be intelligent enough to understand that all this thing is simply going to lead us to hell. If we don't take shelter of Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu, especially, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then our end result is going to be very, very painful. Hmm? Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
So see how important our program of chanting,
Mm-hmm.
name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chanting name of Nityananda Prabhu. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm. So this is all not some kind of a, some ritual that we do in the Hare Krishna movement, especially in the Gaudiya Madhav, Gaudiya Ashram, something. No. Has big significance. Why we are celebrating first Advaita Acharya, now is Nityananda Prabhu. The next month it will be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes? Hmm?
Yes,
The
Prabhu.
whole idea is to develop that mercy from the Lord. Because ours is a mercy movement. Without the mercy of them, how we can give up this, sense gratification, which is a very dear thing to everybody. Everyone is only born into this nonsense. Hmm? That is what we are all striving for.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? I think it is here. My dear Lord, this is spoken by Prahlad Maharaja. People in general want to be elevated to the higher planetary system
Oh,
for a long duration of life,
oh.
opulence and enjoyment. But I've seen all this through the activities of my father. When my father was angry and he laughed sarcastically at the demigod, they were immediately vanquished simply by seeing the movements of his eyebrows. So powerful he was. Yet my father, who was so powerful, has now been vanquished by you within a moment. The so-called high birth and mystic power and all everything that is finished. This is finished. The second, everything gone. Prahlad Maharaj saying, My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities from Lord Brahma down to the end. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to please, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant. Get his point? Hmm?
Mm.
This is what Prahlad is saying. You follow?
Mm.
I've seen all this power. My father was so powerful, extremely powerful. I don't think anybody can match him, any living entity. In that kind of opulence, Hiranyakashipu had. Even Ravana also, so powerful. But
Mm.
within a second, all his so-called power and everything is finished. Yes?
Yes, Prabhu.
We are so foolish, That's what we think, This is our nonsense. We think that we are so powerful. There's some small money in our pocket and we think we own the whole world, Yes, and then they become absorbed in so-called material enjoyment. They don't care for Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Therefore, they go deep down into middle existence. Vidya ko leke gori betar. If one has no connection with Nityananda, if he does not come to Krishna consciousness, his Vidya, so-called academic education and Kula, birth in a high family, a great nation, will not protect him. Regardless of whether one is born in a very big family or nation who has very advanced academic education, at the time of death, nature's law will act. His work will be finished and he will get another body according to that work. That. So you see, it says here, all this so-called material education. No? I'm sure all of you are very highly educated. Yes. My dear king, the entire world is covered with sharp points of kusa grass, and on the strength of this you have become proud because you have killed various types of animals in sacrifice. Because of your foolishness, you do not know that devotional service is the only way one can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You cannot understand this. Your only activity should be those that can please the Personality of Godhead. And our education should be such that we can become elevated to Krishna consciousness. That's the only education that we should do. But no, we all got entangled, including myself, crazy system. We have been taught by these atheistic schools. Huh? Schools are all atheistic. They don't believe in God. There is no theology here. Huh? What kind of education is that? Millions of dollars have been wasted on the stupid education that tell you that there's no God. And we are sending proudly our children, everybody, to this system. And if you teach the child 8 hours or 12 hours a day, there's no God, there's no God, there's no God, what will be the propensity, what will become the state of these children? How they'll be ending up? Huh? Of course, we say, oh, no, we will also teach them at home on the side. My dear, I have my reservation on that kind of teaching. Children don't like to learn from parents,
Yes, Prabhu.
Make a survey. How many children are becoming serious in Krishna consciousness?
Not,
How many? Hello?
not many, Prabhu.
None.
None. Yeah.
The word is none.
Yes. Yes. No.
That's why you see the movement, where is the movement going? Nobody, no young people are coming. Because the parents are the ones who are the culprits. They don't want the kid to be a devotee. They want the kid to become an engineer, lawyer, what nonsense. Especially in America, everybody wants to become a doctor. And how many of these doctors are devotees?
Many people are there.
Zero. Especially doctors. They've been taught extremely to deny God. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So you see, I'm not just Huh?
Mm.
I am not speaking because I don't like this thing or what? Huh? See here, Prabhupada is writing the purport. Actually, anything that is done which does not lead to Krishna consciousness is a sinful activity. And any education that does not lead one to understand Krishna is false education. If Krishna consciousness is missing, one is simply engaged in false activities and false educational pursuits. Hmm? Very pathetic. Hmm. Huh?
Yes, Prabhu, to solve this problem, like as you said, for kids right now, if we don't educate them, uh, for communication also basic needs, we should teach at home, or how is it, Prabhu?
I mean, you have to become very serious first, no? You know, yeah, if one wants to, first he has to become a fully Krishna conscious person, then he can make his children also fully Krishna conscious, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You got one leg here and one leg there, you are not convinced about Krishna, then how you can convince anybody downline?
Even though if I'm convinced, like if we have to do something, we need some money to even do something, right, Prabhu? So,
I have surrendered my life. What money? I never worked. And my son, he dropped out. He went to school, learned basic, and age of 15, he dropped out. He said, I don't want to go to this school. It's simply all my friends are smoking and doing all crazy things. What kind of school is this?
mm,
Huh? I'm sure you must have witnessed his activities. Does he show that he is a fool?
mm,
Huh?
no. Mm,
Hmm? I'm setting example. Huh? You have to have guts.
okay.
Understand? Guts must be there. No, no, I don't want this nonsense. Finish. Yes, of course, it doesn't mean that you become a fool. And practically, you want to learn anything nonsense, you just have to go to the internet. Everything is there. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
correct?
Mm,
One who has fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna is to be understood as having the best education, as having studied all the Vedas. There are also other appropriate quotes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. The perfect result of an education is fixing one's mind on the lotus feet of Krishna.
Prabhu, somebody, I wanted to give up my work and completely surrender few years ago, and I was trying in that sense. And some of the seniors told me that, in Lord Brahma's prayers to Krishna in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, Jnani prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiya vartam sthane stita, like wherever one is situated, they have to perform their devotional service from that position without changing much. So how do we understand that, Prabhu?
The main thing is to, first and foremost, spiritual life means to surrender. That's the main thing, you
Mhm.
know. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Stane Stita, means stay in your social position. You're a Brahmin, you're Kshatriya, whatever. But you take up the process of devotional service, associate with devotees.
Mhm.
Now, my question is, where are you going to find these devotees? Is everybody is going to sit at home, Where are those people that you're going to associate with? Tell me.
Mhm.
And mind you, you're going to your work. Yeah, it's good. You have to get your money. I understand that. But you know how much contamination it is for how many hours you're there?
Mhm.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhu.
Tell me. And you're not associating with some big, Vaishnavas there, no? Yeah?
No, no, no.
You have to have lunch meeting, you have to have this crazy this, that, correct?
No, unfortunately, I don't go for any lunch.
Huh? Yeah, then they will brand you as a socially you are unfit, no?
Already they've branded me from.
Yeah, see, correct. So the only way, of course, I cannot say come out tomorrow. First thing is to pray to Krishna. You have to have a consciousness like that. No, I don't want this kind of life.
Yes, true. Definitely.
Praying for detachment.
Mm.
I think I showed you one group of verses like that, first to become, the heart is knotted, then you must give up fruitive activities,
Mm.
correct?
Mhm.
And become, attached to Krishna. Of course, for the woman, I mean, you have to maintain your household life and all that. So, a husband should work, but I don't know, in your case, you are the sole breadwinner. So you have to manage and just wait for time, I guess, until such a time that you can detach yourself and commit 100% to Krishna.
Mhm.
When things start picking up,
Mm.
right? So preaching, of course, you all know preaching is the most topmost thing. Yes.
Mhm.
To come to that, you have to become detached, no?
Mm.
Yes.
Yes, true.
But at least you must understand that the system that you're doing is not going to work now. That's to go to school and study and become a big nonsense and then, make some money and give to Krishna and chant on the side. I don't know these things.
Mm.
The purpose of education is to understand Krishna and his devotional service. If one does not do so, then education is false.
Mm.
In cultured, educated, very active and religious means developing natural love for Krishna.
Mhm.
Everyone has dormant love for Krishna, and by culture and education that has to be awakened. That is the purpose of this Krishna conscious movement. Once Lord Chaitanya asked Sri Ramananda Rai what is the best part of education was, and Ramananda Rai replied that the best part of education is advancement in Krishna consciousness.
Mm.
I don't think they showed you these verses, no?
No problem. I mean, yeah.
We have to learn how to come to this point of giving up all these crazy things. Material things are very, very tempting. You get this, you want that, you get that, and you can see always upgrading, never ends. The money making scheme, yes.
Yes, true.
Hmm. Of course, the solution is to stay and preach. That's the thing we have to do. But to preach, you need strength.
Mm.
Yes. Without strength, it's not possible to preach. At least we have to be very strict with our sadhana and we have to do our, spiritual duties, and that is very important. Hmm?
Yes, true. Definitely,
Ah.
it's helping, Prabhu. Your association have helped our sadhana to be very strict from the day we associate with you.
Yeah, so somebody has to be like us, correct?
Yes, true.
If everybody become like us, then so many more people will be enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You see, the system is that you have brahmachari, you have vanaprastha, you have sannyasi, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And only one portion is householder, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now what you have, three-quarter householders and nobody is vanaprastha, nobody brahmachari, and nobody sannyasi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how the society will progress? Right?
Mm.
Think the system is arranged like that. but nobody is adhering to it. And Kula, birth, high birth.
Mm.
Everybody, now of course, high birth means you can go to America. Yes.
Mm.
Anyone who made it outside India is high birth, you know.
That's what people think, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hmm. So here it says in this verse, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya.
Yeah.
You see, Jati means, you know, your high birth.
Mm.
Jati, correct? You say what caste you are, correct?
Mm.
Shastram japas tapaha apranasheva dehasya mandanam
So,
lokaranjanam. Hmm. For person devoid of devotional service, birth in a great family or nation, knowledge of the revealed scriptures, performance of austerity and penances, and chanting of Vedic mantras are all like ornaments on a dead body. Such ornaments simply serve the concocted pleasure of the general populace. Hmm? You understand? So this high birth, if it does not bring you to devotional service, particularly you can see the so-called high birth Brahmins, you know.
mm.
Most of them who end up in America, those are the Brahmins because they are some or other got good intelligence, no?
Mm.
And what are they doing? Or what are they not doing?
Yes, true.
Tell me, what are they not doing? Finish, correct?
Mm.
Hmm? So try to understand. All this is simply kula, vidya kula. If it is not bringing you to the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu,
So,
it's simply
waste
wasting time.
labor.
Useless labor. Shramam eva kevalam. Huh? Shramam, you know, I think most of you know this word. It's in your language, right?
Yeah,
Shramam.
I hate. Yeah.
Useless labor. Yes?
Yes, true.
So this kula, birth, regardless whether one is born in a very big family or nation or is very advanced academic education, at the time of death, nature's law will act. His work will be finished and he will get another body according to that work. This is what is called samsara tava. Samsara vatmani. Again going on, again going on. And we have been doing this for so many millions of years. Why are these human animals acting in this way? Ahankara mata kohoya nitai pada pasariya. They have become maddened by a false concept of bodily life, and thus they have forgotten the eternal relationship with Nityananda. Asatyara satya korimani. Such forgetful person accept the illusory energy as factual. Satyara refers to that which is not a fact. In other words, Maya means that which is no existence, but is a temporary illusion only. Persons who have no contact with Nityananda accept this illusory body as factual. This is a fact. The moment is covered by Maya. He can only identify with the body. And he only thinks about his bodily necessity. As I've shown this now. Living entities trapped in this body are always interested in all kind of material pursuits. And asatya, I mean, this is not this illusion. This whole thing they are after is this illusory stuff. Yes, that is all their plans. They are making plans how to become, you know, make all the money and make all the, so that I can live forever, enjoying this material pleasure. Yes,
Mm.
that is all the object. Hmm? Yes,
Yes, Prabhu.
this is what it is all about. So try to understand how the conditioned soul is completely messed up
Mm.
because of Maya. And he cannot know, he cannot understand. Because I've explained earlier, he's lost. When he get into sense gratification, he's completely lost, you know. Hmm? His brains, as Krishna say, Krishna covers his intelligence, He cannot figure this out at all. No way. Hmm? He cannot understand nothing. Like an animal. Animal cannot understand. How much you tell the animal also, it is not going to his head. Correct?
Mm. Mm.
Yes or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
So try to understand that the position of a person who is so much caught up with Maya. Absolutely is completely. Uh, so please take it a little seriously. Therefore, Narottama Das then says, Nityare Karuna Hoibe Braja Radha Krishna Pabe. If you actually want to approach the association of Radha and Krishna, you must achieve the mercy of Lord Nityananda first. When he is merciful towards you, then you will be able to approach Radha Krishna. Daro Nitai Charana Dukani. Narottam Das advises that one firmly catch the lotus feet of Nityananda. Hmm? Why we need to catch the lotus feet of Nityananda? Hmm? Explain. It's cooling like so many moons. Hmm? So if you catch hold of the lotus feet of Nityananda, very quickly, simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Huh? Why we need to see the lotus feet of the Lord? Again, question. Hmm? Shown this many times. That when we catch hold of the lotus feet of the Lord, when one seriously engaged in devotional service of the personality of Godhead, fixing the Lord's lotus feet within one's heart, as the only goal of life, one can destroy, see the word, one can destroy innumerable impure desires lodged within the heart as a result of one's previous fruitive work within the three modes of material nature. When the heart is thus purified, one can directly perceive both the Supreme Lord and oneself as transcendental entities. And thus one becomes perfect in spiritual understanding through the direct experience, just as one can directly experience the sunshine through normal, healthy vision. So this is why we have to fix the Lord in the heart, by chanting, automatically comes, and all these dirty things in our heart will go. And as all these dirty things leave our heart, there's no question of getting, any purification. So I even Kapila also recommend. Kapila Dev was talking to Devahuti. He also said the same thing. He said this same thing. It says here, thus conscious engage in devotional service in the association of devotees A person
Yes,
gains this taste for sense gratification, both in this world and in the next. By constantly thinking about the activities of the Lord, this process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power. See, this is the easiest. And when one is actually situated on the path of devotional service, only then he is able to control the mind. We cannot control the mind without attaching it to Krishna, especially to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu. Hmm. And thus, by not engaging in the service of the modes of material nature, but by developing Krishna consciousness, knowledge in renunciation, and by practicing yoga, in which the mind is always fixed in devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one achieves my association in this very life. So you see, for I am the Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth. Even in this very life, it is not that something in the distant future. No, no, no. By taking up this process, that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said very quickly you will attain the lotus feet of the Lord. It is not some kind of a fiction, we are talking about. And devotees sometimes think that no, this is all some, yeah, it is there in the books, but to get it, I think no, it is this life. And how it is perceived, why here in this verse, in this verse, how much time we have? Huh? I'm already 11 o'clock. Huh? I'm really sorry.
no problem.
Um,
O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me.
so in this verse, Prabhupada said in the purport, Mayavadis and atheists accept the form of the deities in the temple of the Lord as idols. But devotees do not worship idols. They directly worship the personality of Godhead in Archer incarnation. You know, uh, directly worshipping in his Archer incarnation. His Archer incarnation is not some idling. They directly worship the personality of Godhead in his Archer incarnation. Archer refers to the form which you can worship in our present condition. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God. That? In his spiritual form. Because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of a spiritual form. We cannot even see the spiritual form of the individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how the spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect of our material senses. In order to be seen by our material senses, the personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form which is called Acha Vigraha. This Acha Vigraha, sometimes called the Acha incarnation, is non-different from him, just as the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations. He takes on uh, it takes on forms, takes forms made of matter, clay, wood, metal, jewels. There are many Shastric injunctions which give instructions for carving forms of the Lord. These forms are not material. If God is all pervading, then He is also in the material element. There's no doubt about it. But the atheists think otherwise. Although they preach that everything is God, when they go to the temple and see the form of the Lord, they deny that He is God. According to our own theory, everything is God. Then why is the deity not God? Actually, they have no conception of God. The devotee's vision, however, is different. Their vision is met with the love of God. As soon as they see the Lord in his different form, the devotees become saturated with love, and therefore they do not find any difference between the Lord and his form in the temple, as do the atheists. The smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees as transcendental and spiritual, and the decoration of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees. It is the duty of the spiritual master to teach how to decorate the deity in the temple, how to cleanse the temple, how to worship the deity. There are different procedures and rules, regulations which are followed in temples of Vishnu, and devotees go there and see the deity, the Vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form because all the deities are benevolent. The devotee express their minds before the deity, and many instances the deity also answers, gives answers. But one must be very elevated in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams. These exchanges of feeling between the deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists. But actually the devotees enjoys them. Kapila Muni is explaining how the devotees see the decorated body and face of the deity and how they speak with him in devotional service. So this is a very important point, that when we worship the deity Acha Vigraha, that's Krishna there, standing there. It's not some stone. That's why we have incidents where the deity actually talk to the devotees, the deity walk with the devotees. The deity is doing Shraddha ceremony for the devotee as a son. There's so many incidences because the Lord and his deity form are non-different. Actually, he tells the gopis, you have to worship my deity. Hmm? He tells the gopis, transcendental love for me arises by a devotional process of hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating on me, and faithfully chanting my glories. The same result is not achieved by mere physical approximation. Please go back to your homes. He told the Brahmin wife also, the same words, 2 times repeated. So the point is that the deity and the Lord are non-different. That's what I'm trying to make. Sometimes people ask this question, are you seeing God? Huh? No, we are not, we think like that and we try to say, no, we should say we are seeing God. Yes. We are seeing in the form of the deity. Non-different. That's why we are touching the deity. We have Charnamrita. After Abhishek, we take the water, put some Charnamrita there. Why? Because by taking Charnamrita, Sarva Vyadi
Nipara.
Nasanam. Sarva Vyadi means this Vyadi of birth and death is finished by taking the Charnamrita. Understand? Therefore, seeing the deity is so important because the Lord is there for us to get purified. By seeing the Lord, touching his lotus feet, taking Charnamrita, offering him, dressing him, everything is very important for especially the neophytes to make spiritual advancement. Yes?
Yes.
Ah, so that's why it says here in this verse, this point here that we are talking about. Firmly catch the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Okay. Then he says, again he says, Nitai Charana Satya. One should not misunderstand and think that he is caught all of Maya. Similarly, the lotus feet of Nityananda may also something like Maya or illusion. Therefore, Narottam Das confirmed, Nitai Charana Satya. The lotus of Nityananda are not illusion, they are fact. Tahara, Sevaka, Nitya. And one who engages in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda is also transcendental. If one engaged in the transcendental loving service of Nityananda in Krishna consciousness, he immediately achieves his transcendental position on the spiritual platform, which is eternal and blissful. Therefore, he advises Nitai Pada Sada Koro Asa. Always try to catch hold of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Hmm? So therefore, you can see here in this verse, I hope you will excuse me, I'm taking a little bit longer time.
No, Prabhu, we're really happy to hear this.
So here in this verse, you can see here, by cultivating philosophical knowledge, one can understand his spiritual position. Uh, by performing sacrifice and spiritual position and thus be liberated, and by performing sacrifice and pious activities, one can achieve sense gratification in a higher planetary system. But devotional service of the Lord is so rare that even by executing hundreds and thousands of such sacrifices, one cannot obtain it. You know, because all these verses are there, you can always read. If a devotee wants liberation or material sense gratification from the Lord, Krishna immediately delivers it. But pure devotional service he keeps hidden. He doesn't give that. Krishna doesn't give. My dear, the great sage Sukadev said, my dear Maharaj Pariji, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna, is always ready to help you. He is your master, guru, God, and he is very dear friend and also the head of your family. Yet sometimes he agrees to act as your family's servant or order carrier. You are greatly fortunate because this relationship is possible only by Bhakti Yoga. The Lord can give liberation, mukti very easily, but He does not very easily give one bhakti because by that process He is bound to the devotee. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has freely given this love of Krishna everywhere and anywhere, even to the most fallen such as Jagai and Madai. What then to speak of those who are already pious and elevated? There's a difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. They give this Krishna prem easily, whereas Krishna holds it back. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, is fully independent. Therefore, although it is the most confidentially stored benediction, He can distribute love of Godhead to anyone and everyone without consideration. There's a difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Whether he is offensive or inoffensive, whether anyone who even now chants Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda is immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy and tears fill his eyes. Simply by talking of Nityananda Prabhu, one awakens one love for Krishna. Thus all one's bodily limbs are agitated by ecstasy and tears flow from his eyes like waters of the Ganges. There are offenses to be considered while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one does not become ecstatic. If one's heart does not change, tears does not flow from his eyes, body does not shiver, and the bodily hairs do not stand on end. As he chants the Hare Krishna mantra, it should be understood that this heart is as hard as iron. This is due to his offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. This is a very important purport that you should read. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offenses vanquishes all sinful activities. Thus pure devotional service, which is the cause of love of God, it becomes manifest. When one transcendental loving service to the Lord is actually awakened, it generates transformation in the body such as perspiration, trembling, throbbing of the heart, faltering of the voice, and tears in the eyes. As a result of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one makes such great advancement in spiritual life that simultaneously his material existence terminates and he receives love of God. The holy name of Krishna is so powerful that by chanting even one name, one very easily achieves these transcendental riches. If one chants the exalted holy name of the Lord again and again, and yet his love for Supreme Lord does not develop and tears does not appear in his eyes, it is evident that because of his offenses in chanting, the seed of the holy name of Krishna does not sprout. If one chants with some slight faith the holy names of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, very quickly he is cleansed of all offenses. Thus, as soon as he chants the Hare Krishna mantra, he feels the ecstasy of love of God. See, power of chanting Nityananda's name. Therefore, Narottam Borodukhi, Narottam Das Thakur, the Acharya, is taking the position that he is very unhappy. Although he is representing ourselves, he says, my dear Lord, I am very unhappy. Nittai Moro Koro Sukhi. Therefore, I am praying to the Lord Nityananda to make me happy. Ragko Ranga Charanera Pas. Please keep me in the corner of your lotus feet. So you see how, of course, we are also chanting that, Somehow or other I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. My dear Lord, please place me as one of the atoms at the your lotus feet. Yes. This is asked to pray. So, okay, I have tried to, in my small way, to explain this whole purport of the song.
Wonderful.
Anybody has any questions or comments or anything?
Wonderful explanation, Prabhu. So many verses.
Huh?
So much stuff, Prabhu, that you showed us.
Yes, there's 18,000 verses, that the Bhagavatam, you got another, how many verses in the Chaitanya Charitamrita? They have so many books, correct?
Yes.
So many things, and we are discarding this, and we are reading so many nonsense.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
we have to celebrate now Nityananda's appearance day, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Which you all did, I think, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't know
It
you
was
read
tot-
this. I don't know you read this purport, huh?
No, Prabhu.
Okay.
Huh? Did you read this purport of this song?
No, Prabhu.
No, Prabhu.
So next time when you have Nityananda's appearance day, you please remember this, huh?
Sure, Prabhu.
So this is what association means, that you learn something. So, okay, I guess you have any other things to say?
So, Prabhu, we had the Nityantarasya festival. I just wanted to personally call you, but we're a little tired yesterday. I couldn't talk to you, Prabhu, but so it went very well, Prabhu. It was totally unexpected.
Yes.
So, we are just wondering what happened just on that day. Like so many people came. I was like telling to everyone whether is it our program or did we go to some other temple and attended the program, because every face we saw was new except the two families. So it was very
because
nicely.
right now you are doing it very sincerely with Prabhupada's mercy, correct? So Krishna
It
is
was all
very
your
pleased.
guidance, Prabhu. Really helped us actually on how to celebrate.
I'm staying millions of miles away. I don't know. It is all your sincere efforts. So when we do things properly, under proper, connections and guidance, then the energy flows.
Yes.
Krishna is happy, then Krishna sends so many souls.
Mm.
Hmm.
And when Krishna is not pleased, then you cannot get nobody coming.
Yes, Prabhu.
Understand? I mean, you didn't advertise, you don't know, they're just walking in. So who's telling them? Obviously the super soul, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And who is the super soul is who?
Krishna.
Yes. So Krishna is saying, you go to this place, please take shelter. And it's giving that soul a chance, like now I explained, correct? By connecting, offering some flower to Nityananda Prabhu, they all start their spiritual life.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or not?
Yes.
Otherwise, they're going to become animals. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
correct.
Yes.
Hmm. So try to understand the service that you are doing is not some ordinary service, no. It's the most valuable service you're doing, connecting people to Krishna.
Mhm.
Yes, and Krishna, if you were doing this and Krishna is sending to the people to you, that means you must be fortunate.
Mhm. Yes, true.
Yes, Prabhu.
Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes or not? So please take it more vigorously, push on, all of you. I see you're doing something, distributing books, giving out prasadam. Huh? Try to also, now you have started to preach. Now you have programs.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu.
So this is all very part and parcel of Prabhupada's mercy.
Yes, Prabhu.
So thank you. Thank you very much for serving him so nicely.
Thank you, Prabhu. It's all your guidance, Prabhu. It's your blessings and prayers and guidance, everything. Yeah.
I'm the most cursed person in the internet.